We're joined now by, via Skype by François Margolin, the producer of Night Across the Street, and a very fine and adventurous film producer with a long-time relationship with Raúl Ruiz and other filmmakers like Olivier Assayas and Ho Xiaoshen. François, thanks very much for joining us. I don't know if we can hear you. Yeah, bear with us for a second while we try to get the sound. There you are. There you are.
Okay?
Yes, we can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Excuse me, I make a mistake on my computer. I'm in San Sebastian. I'm very happy to be with you with Skype.
Yes, it's a miracle. So
Yes.
I wanted to begin by asking you actually just a little bit about your long working relationship with Raúl Ruiz, how you first got to know him and to work with him, and what that relationship was like, what he was like to work with as you being a producer, him being a director.
For me, Raúl Ruiz, excuse me, I don't speak English very well, but Raúl Ruiz was more friend than a director that I produced. He was first a friend, and I learned a lot of things with him. Things about movies, things about life, things about eating, the way to drink also. Everything. He learned me a lot of things, and I realized after 1 year after his death that I learned so much things with him that it's incredible. In fact, really incredible. Maybe I don't say more than my father because I learned a lot of things with my father. But Raúl was like another father for me.
And can you talk about how this project, Night Across the Street, or La Noche de Enfrente, first came into being, and perhaps how Raúl described the film to you that he wanted to make?
I was in France, he was in Chile, and I called him, he explained me, oh, I want to shoot a very small movie during 1 or 2 weeks. Are you okay to produce it? I say yes, evidently. And I came immediately to Chile, so I arrived just after 1 week, so the shooting was just starting. And I don't knew the script. He explained me the script. It's a story of the father of one of my best friends, Emilio del Solar. On the shooting, it was very strange. It was very strange. The atmosphere was very different of the other movies that I produce. And in fact, I realized that it was like autobiography. And it was very strange because Raúl Ruiz is absolutely not a director who's making movie about autobiography. And I realized that it was something very different. And what I'm thinking now, it's Raúl Ruiz is making exactly the contrary of all the others. And he finished his career with his first film. So La Noche de Enfrente is like a first movie of somebody. He's talking about when he was very young. The difference, it's also 3 times of his life. So there is Raúl Ruiz very young. There is Raúl Ruiz finishing to work, and there is also Raúl Ruiz death, the death of Raúl Ruiz. Raúl Ruiz dead, talking to us. So it's very complicated. Yeah.
Well, you hit on something that I think it's hard to watch this film now and not notice the funereal quality. It's a film haunted by death, by ghosts, by the recurring past. Do you have any sense that when Raúl was making this film, he may have sensed in some way that this was his last film?
Yes, I'm sure. Now I'm sure. during the shooting, I was absolutely no. I don't think he was. I was thinking he was very in good health. It was very happy. It was good health. He was starting to drink again because he was stopping to drink after his liver transfer. I don't transplantation.
Transplant.
Yes, transplant. And he was starting again to drink one glass of wine, vino tinto, on beer also. During when he was eating, he was going very well, and I was absolutely not thinking at this time that it was his last film. But now I'm sure his last film because he was. If you see the film, it's a film made to be seen after his death. He's talking from I don't know from where, but he's talking to us from somewhere. It's not the life. Maybe it's alive again, always, but because I'm sure he is with us. He's like a ghost with us, but. It's a movie made for that. And I was talking with a lot of technicians after his death, Chilean technicians, because he chose very young technicians. Some they were always in school, in film school in Santiago. And he was talking to these people sometimes, and explaining it was his last movie. Not to me, no, but he don't say that. But to very young people, they don't know him very well. He was explaining, it is my last film.
I'm going to turn it over to our press corps here to ask some questions. Show of hands. Yes, over there. Wait for the microphone. Do we have the microphone? No? Okay, so... Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just there.
How did he go about structuring the film? How was it written? How was it framed? I mean, it's there's so many different ways it can go, and you wonder where he chooses to have words, where he chooses to stop. I just would like to hear more about that whole process that you had experienced.
It's difficult to explain because Raúl Ruiz was not really writing script. For him, it was very easy to write a script. He started as writing telenovelas for TV in Mexico, and he knew very well the way to write script. But his fight was against the 3 acts. I don't know in English. It's okay. 3 acts, yes.
3 acts.
He was against the climax, against all the rules of Hollywood, of the normal movies. So he was the script was one part of a movie, but all was after during the shooting, with the actors before the film. It was really the construction of a movie was during the shooting, and for me it was sometimes very complicated because to find money in France, for example, at the CNC, the French Center of Cinematography, or TV in Canal Plus, and also they want to have a good script. There is only one way to write a script. And with Raúl, it was not very easy to convince the people that it was a good script, because with the ordinary rules, it was not a good script. But it was a good film. So sometimes we were obliged to find the money after the shooting, and it's very. For example, also a movie like The Mysteries of Lisbon. If it was another director than Raúl who directed this script, it will be very, very different because he don't respect the rules of the traditional narration. So it was difficult for him. I don't know if I answer to you.
Yes, over here.
Hello?
Hi, yes, it says it's inspired by a book that I believe is not available in English. So if you can let us know like what elements are from the book and how to, or just take off from it, or how is it inspired by a novel?
It's very difficult to answer because at the beginning, for example, I write on the. I wanted to write on the generic of at the beginning of the film, inspired by the book of Hernán del Solar. He wanted that. In reality, I think it's a script of Raúl. So an adaptation of a book by Raúl Ruiz is not. Respect is not so much things from the book. Also, for example, in Marcel Proust, Le Temps Retrouvé is the spirit of Marcel Proust. I think it's the film is the most, in fact, in the spirit of Marcel Proust. But in fact, it's not Le Temps Retrouvé for somebody who is going to school, to the university, and he read the book. So in the adaptation of Hernán del Solar, in fact, it's only the spirit, the poetry of the movie. It's some elements, but not so much. I think Raúl Ruiz was also making all the contrary of the normal director. So I realized, for example, there is a book adapted by his life by a very famous French writer, Jean-Jacques Schul, who won the Prix Goncourt, like a Pulitzer Prize in the United States. He wrote a book starting with a story with Raúl Ruiz. He meets Raúl Ruiz in a restaurant. Raúl Ruiz is explaining a story to this guy, and all the book is about the story of Raúl Ruiz. So Raúl Ruiz is the contrary of a guy, a director who adapts a book. So I can answer very clearly because the book also is not in French, it's only in Spanish, but I think there's only some very small elements, and I think the most important for Raúl was to adapt a book of the father of his best friend. It was most.
Yeah, Jim.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask a question about the role of the producer. When this is a kind of film which a producer approaches in a particular way, and what your expectations are, and how you come to a film festival and present yourself with this film because the master is gone. This kind of producer is rare. And just explain how you approach the work, what involvement you actually have with the creative process when you deal with a master.
I think with Raúl, to produce a movie was not only during the time of the production. It was to have dinner with him, to lunch with him, to talk all the time with him. That is the real role of a producer. I think he's like he like to work with one or two producers. They were friends of him to discuss about subject. But after that, he was only during the shooting. The producer, the only role of the producer is to find the money to assure the thing. But Raúl can be his own producer if he wanted. He can be a real good producer. So you have me? Okay. You don't need really a producer during the shooting. You need a producer to have discussion, to find new subject of a movie, to know what is important for him to do after that, and also what is the reality of the market, because there is a market of the house of the art house movies also in Europe. So if there is, for example, an actor who is very happy, a famous actor who is very happy to work with him, he wanted to imagine with the producer maybe an idea or to with this actor. So it was more a role of a confidant, like in theater piece. It's to be very close of him on also in the spirit of Raúl. I think I was very close because life for him, the life was to make movies. So he was making a movie also when he was drinking a glass of wine or eating with his producer, I think. His life, it's a reason he make a 150 movie. He don't remember exactly the number, but his life was a film.
I'm wondering, Francois, in your various conversations with Raúl over the years, if he ever discussed his career-long fascination with pirates and sea stories, because, of course, we have the character in this film of Long John Silver. Raúl made a film of Treasure Island in the 80s, and also, of course, City of Pirates and Three Crowns of the Sailor and other films that had this kind of imagery and characters in them. If you could speak to that at all.
Yes, I think Raúl was fascinating by pirates because his father was a commandant of sailor. I don't know in English of a boat. He was commandant of a commercial boat. So he liked the story of pirates because in his room when he was child, it was a lot of pictures of pirate boats. With trois-mâts, I don't know the name in English, pirates boats. So he was fascinated by that. But I think all his career was coming from his childhood, from his room in the apartment of his parents. And I think he's dead because his mother was dead 1 year and a half before him. And so it's a reason he's dead because he wanted to be a child and to have dream of pirates. And when his mother died, he was no more a child, so he was an adult. So he had no reason to stay more on Earth. So I think pirates was very important for him. And we had a project, in fact, during the shooting of La Noche de Enfrente. We talk about a project of pirate movie because I'm Jewish and I was talking often with him about Judaism or Jewish people. And he invent a story, but a real story of a Jewish pirate because it's a real story, I think. He was explaining it's a real story, I'm not sure, but he explained me that Sir Francis Drake was Jew, but a Jew. So I'm not sure it's true, but he wanted to make a story of Jewish pirates on the coast of Chile at the time of the pirates. And it was a film he wanted really to do, but we had no time to do it. But maybe it can be a good story.
Francois, I think we're just about out of time, but I want to thank you very much for Skyping in from San Sebastian. It's been a pleasure.
Okay. Thank you very much, and I hope it was okay.